Hello out there in YouTube land, Rival here. Thanks for stopping by. I got something pretty cool for you guys on the turntable this week. I've been kind of putting this off a little bit. I don't know if you call it nerves or whatnot, but normally I'm just pimping other people's knives. Today I'm showing you my own full custom knives. So I've gotten a few upgrades in my shop lately, which allow me to kind of cut my own steel, cut my own titanium. So I'm going to be able to do a lot more things in the near future. And one of the things I'm doing is just playing around with some neck knives to kind of get just my skill set in place, get my designs in place, make sure what I'm thinking about is actually working. And I wanted to use titanium instead of steel because I don't have quick ready access to heat treat right now. I mean, I don't know anybody near me that I can go to. I can use Pete's and stuff like that, but that's a little more than I want to spend when I'm only going to be cranking out 1 or 2 knives at a time. They're going to be relatively small, and then that's extra time where I've got to have it out of my hand, send it back, get it back, and I like doing things, you know, in short order, or focusing on one project at a time whenever I can. So, you know, soon I'll be switching over to steel, I'm sure. But titanium is great to work with. I use a lot of same skill sets, and I can practice my grinding skills and things like that too. So it's great. So what you see here are 2 neckers. I wanted to make 2 very specific styles of knives because I'm going to be using them. I want something to use in my shop on a regular basis. You know, I got my big pocket knives and such, but I don't always need to use a 0550 if I need to do a couple of cuts. You know, if I'm cutting some tape or I'm trimming some templates or something like that, I need a nice thin tip. Sometimes I need to do some scraping, some cutting, stuff like that. And I don't always want to scratch up my nice knives either. So I wanted something I could beat on, something that was relatively small, something that I would have easy access to, and 2 very specific blade shapes. So here's what I came up with. The first one is going to be like a mini cleaver style. The grind on this one isn't the greatest. It's very convex. You know, I got a lot of work to do on my grinding skills, but it turned out pretty good overall. So this is titanium. I gave it an orange peel because I don't have a sandblaster either. So I wanted a nice finish on it, something that was kind of scratch resistant, but would still look good. So I went with a nice orange peel finish. Hopefully we can, there you go. So you can see that nice orange peel on there. I got a nice big swedge on the top, which gives me a nice pointy tip. Then I've got my big flat edge on top and my big flat edge on the bottom. So it's about a 2-inch blade. You get a little extra cutting space on the Tonto style tip there. Overall, this thing's 5.5 inches, so it's a really nice size. It's 3-finger grip. I may unwrap the handle and pull this grip up a little bit. It is a little fat once it's fully wrapped. If I were to do just, you know, scales or something like that, it'd be a nice. You'd get a little bit of space back. You know, the wrapping on there is kind of thick. I did a 0550 cord flat wrap, and then I did, I don't know, kind of a Japanese style wrap over the top. I am slowly learning Japanese cord wrapping and Japanese handle wrapping. You know, nikigami, things like that. So that's something I'd like to incorporate into some of this stuff, maybe some traditional Japanese styles along with some urban tactical styles. But this is going to be a great utility knife because, you know, I really designed it with a nice, it's got a curve on the top so that when I'm holding it, I can get a really good push when I need to cut, scrape, things like that. You know, when I'm bonding scales together, I've got epoxy involved. Once it's curing or once it's dry, I want to be able to scrape some of that off, clean it up. So this is going to be a really nice knife for me to be able to do stuff like that. It's good for really push cutting and stuff like that. So if I need to cut some 0550 cord, it just slices right through it. I have actually been using both of these knives for just about a month now, just to kind of get a good idea of how titanium works as you know, for cutting, because, you know, there's a lot of myths out there, there's some truths out there, some pros and cons. I mean, it all comes down to the right material for the job, and for what I want for a utility knife, it holds a good edge. I've got a carbidizer, so it is a carbidized on this edge, and then I put a relief cut on this edge, and I actually gave these 2 different types of grinds. I may make a video in the near future just talking about titanium and a couple of different ways you can grind titanium and allow for cutting edges and the types of cutting edges and just some of the things I've found through testing. But there are some good videos on YouTube if you look up titanium knives. Daniel Fairley is a great example of a guy who can make a really good titanium knife. Another pro to this thing is just barely over an ounce. It's like 1 ounce and 2 grams. I mean, you could barely feel it. Whoop! You could barely feel it. It's got a nice toothy edge. So again, the grind side, it's a little rounded and pulled up towards the top. I couldn't really get a good angle on the little grinder I'm using, but I'm getting better at it. This one's a lot better. So it is carbidized on this edge, relief cut, or relief edge on this edge. And it holds a good toothy edge. So the carbidizer lays a tungsten carbide layer on here, and that is 72 HRC. So that's a nice hard edge. It sharpens up pretty good, pretty easy. This thing rips through cardboard, and then you can just a couple passes on the sharp maker or something like that to keep it in shape, and it's really good. We've got the sheath here for it. Whoa, upside down. Hello, doing this through a camera lens, sorry. So the sheath fits really good. It's kind of a quick and dirty sheath. This one's a full finish sheath, but I did put some thought behind this sheath. What I did is I've got a cord wrap around this sheath. I've got a cord wrap around this sheath too. What that allows me to do is if I don't want this as in my pocket or something like that, if I want to make it more ready access, I unwrap my cord, and there you go. Now I've got a neck knife ready to rock. And then I kind of offset hanger, so this thing's going to hang pretty straight right around your neck like this. It's small, it's unobtrusive. It works really good as a neck knife. I'm really annoyed when I see guys taunting neck knives and have these big, thick, chunky, blocky things. They don't put a lot of thought into the sheath or how it's going to actually hang around the neck. They just put a couple of holes in the top and call it a neck knife. A lot of those I would never use as a neck knife. You don't want a lot of printing on a neck knife if you're wearing it under your shirt. You don't want people seeing like a big, blocky thing. So this sits nice and discreetly on your chest if you put it under your shirt too. It's got a nice flat cord wrap. I chose blue to kind of go through the whole knife. You could use any color you want. You could use bright colors, you could use muted colors, you could use blacks. I actually have a ball chain dog tag style that I was using for a little while. That works great. And nobody's going to know you got a knife hanging around your neck. And when you need it, you pop it out, you pull it out. Sheath's got great retention. It's also drilled to be Tech-Lock compatible. If I want to put it on my belt, use it as a side carry, or a standard carry, you can do either of those. So it's a great backup knife. This is never intended to be my primary, my heavy duty, or anything like that. I designed it to be and use as a utility knife, and I think it's going to work great in that function. It has been for the last month. So that brings me to this guy. Also, again, intended for really broad utility functions, but I went with a Kiridashi style. I love Kiridashis. Wanted to do my own Kiridashi, so that's what I did. So here you go. Did a little technical utility style, so I've got my primary grind. I've got a nice swedge grind on there. Again, it's orange peeled titanium, but then I satin the flats on this one, broadening my scales, or broadening my skills, I should say. So this one has a different grind. So I've got my my main grind edge here. I actually carbidized the back here. And the cool thing is the carbidizing with the orange peel, I mean, you really barely see it, and it blends in really well. I mean, this thing looks cool. Now this thing is much sharper and has a much finer edge than that. That thing's a little beefy, a little bulky, and the relief edge being on the back gives me a more traditional style grind. I actually put 15 degree bevels on each side, so I'm 30 degrees overall, which is pretty much the same setup I run on a lot of my regular knives. This one has a finer edge. I did it on the Edge Pro Apex, so I think this one has a 18 degree chisel. I mean, it just straight edge, and the back is flat, the carbidized edge with the 72 HRC. So I get great cutting and really fine cutting and a nice strong tip, because titanium overall is a nice solid sturdy alloy. And these are both 6AL4V. So you can see this also has carbon fiber scales. This thing comes in at under an ounce. You can barely feel this thing is in your hands. You can actually go 4-finger grip style the way I got this one set up, with a nice little, I don't know, kind of like a bat wing design overall. But yeah, you can go 4-finger grip, or you can go 3-finger grip to give yourself a little bit of reach. This one's really intended to be a slicer, so it's got that nice tip. It's got a 2-inch, exactly 2-inch cutting edge. Warncliffe style. It's great for chopping. It's great for cutting. It's very pointy, pokey, especially thanks to that chisel on the top, or that swedge on the top. Sorry. I don't know what else I can tell you guys. Like I said, I did these almost a month ago and have been kind of, you know, I've been using them every single day. Every single day, either this one or that one. I use this one a lot more because it's just great for all-around use. I mean, it's a really good utility style. That's why Kiridashis have been around as long as they have, as popular as they are. I mean, a lot of makers have their own take on a Kiridashi of some kind or another. So here you go. Here's my take. But I am very pleased to show and share with you guys my first 2 full customs. I'm going to keep cranking them out. I mean, I got a lot of designs that I've kind of accumulated over the recent past, and a lot of ideas for things that I like and things that I don't like. So I'll just keep plucking away at them, sharing with you guys what I got. You know, eventually I'll put some up for grabs or do some giveaways or something like that. Get them out in the real world. But yeah, so these are both 6AL 4V titanium neck knives. Both have carbidized edges at 72 HRC. Different style grinds. This one has more of a V grind. You can do a V grind on titanium, but I'll get into that in another video sometime. Both are cord wrapped with neck knife style. Again, this one you can just pop the corner out. Whoop. And then if I want to go neck knife, this one really works as a great necker too, because it's just thin profile overall. I fully finished this thing, so it is completely thought through, functional. It's fantastic. It's also drilled for tech lock. So if I want to put it, you know, handle up, or I wear it on my front left side on my belt, just kind of even with my belt like this. So if I need it, I just cross draw and I'm ready to rock and roll. But it is a great backup knife, a great utility knife, and I think just a really cool way to get started in my own knife making. So there you have it, guys. That's what I got for you. That's what I've been up to in between projects. I got another finished video coming up. I'll probably be making that this afternoon. I'm going back out in the shop while I upload this. And then, as always, I got more projects on the horizon. So check me out on Instagram. I'll put the link down in the description below again. Otherwise, like, subscribe, and thanks for stopping by. Peace.